Hello, and welcome to the Vapor Review Blog. Today we're going to be looking at the Source Nail, general oil, concentrate, wax vaporizer. It has a home in between pen vaporizers, which are, the most portable oil vapes available, and your at-home solution in eNail. The difference between the two, on an eNail, you would dab right onto a hot surface, rather than with a pen vaporizer, you would put your dab onto the coils and then you would heat them up to dabbing temperature. With the Source Nail, you're going to have a bucket that you bring up to dabbing temperature and then you dab right onto that hot surface. So it's much more similar to that at-home eNail experience than it is to the pen. But it's completely portable. It comes with a battery and a bubbler that goes on top, so you even get a little bit of the water filtration. And the reason I say a little bit is because it's a rather small bubbler. It doesn't hold a whole lot of water. It gets the job done. It provides much cooler and smoother vapor than a dry hit from a pen, for example, or even from the dry non-bubbler top. But overall, I think that the bubbler is the weakest link in the experience. Moving on to the buckets themselves, these are by far one of the strongest links of the Source Vape kit, because not only do they come in 3 different materials, they come in quartz, titanium, and ceramic, but they have the heating element built into them, meaning if you give your bucket a little bit too much juice, and by juice I mean power, or you run it, you've just been using it for a really long time and it just doesn't feel like it's getting up to temperature anymore, you can replace that without having to repurchase the entire Source Nail system. So you can go out and buy another 3-pack of buckets. They're replaceable units, and just it's like you're starting from brand new again. There's 2 Source Nail bases, one for the bubbler top and one for the dry mouth piece. But the Source Nail base, which will connect any 510 threaded battery to your Source Nail, or if you buy the full kit, you get the Source Volt 40-watt battery with it, which is a temperature control battery. What this means is that it can keep the power that it's sending to the atomizer, to those buckets, constant. And so they stay around the same temperature. The only caveat to this is that the temperature that's on the screen doesn't necessarily reflect the temperature that's in the bucket. The reason I say that is because the different buckets will require different temperatures. It kind of needs to be calibrated. The ceramic holds onto heat a lot better than the quartz, for example, and so you may have to hold it longer for it to get to the temperature that you're looking for. Keeping it in the TC mode, that regulates the heat by turning the heater on and off really fast. But if you keep it in wattage mode, it just runs the heater non-stop. TC mode, you can select whether you want low, medium, or high power, how fast you want it to ramp up the power to the heater in order to reach the design temperature. I prefer low. The reason I prefer low is that heating things up gradually or slower, while it will take longer to reach your dabbing temperature, and by longer, I mean a maximum of 15 seconds. You'll have to press the button twice. You hold the button for 15 seconds, and then you let go and you press it again, because there's a 15-second timeout. The reason I say low is that you'll get better life out of your heater. Each bucket will last longer. This is a 40-watt battery, but if you put 40 watts into a bucket, it will probably burn it out. It'll burn it out sooner rather than later. Take the time, use a measurement device, something precise like a digital thermometer. I got this one on Amazon. It was like $13, and find the right temperature for the buckets. Once you do that, the Source Nail will be able to deliver that over and over and over again. Now, the buckets, as I've been saying, as the strongest link, the reason I say this is because the leading competitors, a lot of similar looking products, but they're not that similar, have the heater built into the top. Now, because the heater is built into the top, if you burn it out by running too much power through it, then you need to get a whole new top. Not so with these atomizer bucket replacements. I prefer them to be consumable than be permanently built in. As far as the battery life, it's great. I have a difficult time telling you how long it'll last because it depends on how much you're using it. But I've put about an hour to 2 hours, maybe 2 full hours of use just filming these videos, and my battery is at half life. So, I mean, that's 2 hours of being run. The Source Volt battery will work with pretty much any 510 threaded attachment. So you can even use it with your Source Orb or your Source Orb XL, all the other Source stuff, and other products. In the box with the Source Nail, you get the bubbler, the Source Nail attachment, the Source Nail atomizers. You'll get the Source Volt 40 watt TC battery, a carb cap. I managed to break mine pretty much right away. You'll get the dry mouthpiece, as well as the Source Nail attachment for the dry mouthpiece. And then you'll get a micro USB charging cord in order to charge the Source Volt battery from any 5-volt source. Depending on your preferences, you can choose the ceramic bucket, quartz bucket, or titanium bucket. Each of them will react differently with the heater. They'll heat up at different rates. They'll hold on to the heat differently, and then they'll cool down differently. And that changes the overall experience a little bit. You'll get an overall warmer dab with ceramic because it holds on to heat well. You'll find that the quartz cools down very quickly after being brought to temperature, so that you can get a lighter tasting dab by perhaps feathering the heater. Titanium is like old reliable. I find it hard to name the benefits of titanium over the quartz and the ceramic, but I find myself using it too. All three have their place, and everybody has a different reason to pick one. And then if you find that you settle on one, next time you go to order, you can just order 3 of the quartz or 3 of the ceramic, whichever one you end up settling on. Or if you want another variety pack, there's always that option. The Source Nail is easy to recommend. It may take a little bit of work to get the perfect dab out of it, but it's not going to take a lot of work just to enjoy it and have a good experience. You can kind of work your way up from the lower temperatures until you find something that works well for you without the need to use a thermometer. But I do highly recommend using a thermometer to dial in the perfect temperature if you're a picky dabber, or if you want to, take your game to the next level. Anyway, this has been Vapor Review Blog. Highly recommend the Source Nail. Thank you guys very much for watching. Have a wonderful day.
What's up? This is Cholo Fit with Creeper. The first one we're gonna get started with is Cholo squats, Whether you're locked up or you're at your homie's barbecue and it's time to represent with your clica for a photo, then you go like this, You go left foot, point it forward like this, right foot, point it to the right in that direction. Feel how down you are for your homies. And then we're literally gonna take it down, okay? Squat down, bend the knees, keep your back straight, hands on the knees, chin up, feel the power, Now we bring it back up, all right? Boom, homie, feel that burn, represent.